Hello, in this video we're going to learn how to use the crop tool and the magnifying glasses tool, how to zoom in and out of your work. So first thing you need to do is pull your mouse all the way down to the bottom of the screen and the dock will appear. Click on the launch pad, navigate to your Photoshop icon by using these little dots here, and click on Photoshop. That will open up Photoshop. Your original screen, like the first one that comes up, might look like this, but notice this is like if you want to learn more and so on. You can just click on the little X in the corner to get rid of that. And this is that introductory Photoshop screen where you can create a new document or open one. For this tutorial, we're going to open a photograph. I'm going to get it from my computer. And you might be getting this from Google Drive or maybe your downloads folder or wherever you keep your photographs on your computer. I'm going to open up a photograph here. And because we're going to be using the crop tool, maybe you'll want to choose a photograph where it might be, useful to crop, but it's not really necessary because we're just learning the tools. All right, so first thing I want to show you is the magnifying glass tool, and that is at the bottom of your toolbar, the little magnifying glass. If I click on this, notice the option bar changes and we have a little plus and minus. So when I click on with the plus, of course, I'm zooming in. If I want to zoom out, I can click on the little minus icon and zoom out. A quicker way to do this, the shortcut, is to hold down the Command key on your keyboard and use the plus or minus keys on your keyboard. Okay. The other thing that's very useful to know is Command 0 or Control 0 on a PC fits it just to screen. So again, I'm using Command minus to zoom out and Command 0 just frames it right perfectly. The next tool I want to show you is the crop tool. And for that purpose, I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit just so you can see the edges better. So here's the crop tool, and notice if I click and hold on the crop tool, I get some other tools, but I'm just going to focus on the basic crop tool today. And once that is selected, you can click and drag the area that you want to preserve, but know that it's not a done deal. Once you click and drag and you let go, you have these handles here to fine tune, and you can figure out where it is that you want to crop. Notice they have these wonderful rule of third grid marks going across. That's my preference, but I do believe you can click on the little grid icon and get all kinds of different, different grids. But rule of thirds is very helpful, especially when we're learning about composition. We might want to put the dominant lines in our photograph using the rule of thirds. So maybe I'll want to make it a little bit smaller so I get this sort of the river sort of going down that rule of thirds here. The other thing, and then once you like that, you can either click the check mark that will say, indeed, that's what I want to do, or cancel. I do want to show that you can straighten the horizon. Oftentimes we take photographs and we don't notice that the horizon is a little crooked. This one's not too bad, but it's not perfect. So if you hover your mouse over the corner out here, you'll notice a little double arrowhead, and that is signifying that you can then rotate. And notice, see how we have the little grid appear, so we can make sure that that horizon line is just perfectly straight. And then maybe I'll bring this in to make it a little bit more rule of thirds, maybe crop a little bit off the bottom and get it just like you like it. Now I'm going to do a little Command Z. Let's see if that does. Yeah, no, Command Z is, or Control Z is undo. So I'm just going to undo that because I want to show you something. What happens if you click and drag and you accidentally go over the edge here? You get some extra, or sometimes this happens if the trackpad isn't working very well. You get this tiny little square and you're like, what the heck? How do I fix this? You can click on the reset icon right up there and you're going to get right back to it. So let's try that again. I'm going to, because I want to get it how I like it, get that horizon line nice and straight, figure out what I'd like. I kind of like this line sort of going right off into the corner, select, and there we go. The other thing that's very important for you to know in the options bar with the crop tool is this drop-down menu. You can specify a specific ratio. Let's say you want to have a photograph and you want to print it out perfectly for a 5x7 frame. But whatever specific dimension you want, you can actually click it on ratio and type in 5 IN for inches, 5 by whatever, 9 inches here. And you can even click on this little switcheroo bar here. So that's how you make it if you want and no matter what you do with the corners here, it's going to keep that ratio. The other thing that's very useful to know is this 1x1 square. Oftentimes we're making photographs for Instagram, or if you want it to be perfectly square. Again, if it's on that square and you move the handlebars, and no matter what you do, you're going to still get a square. Now, sometimes this happens where you come into Photoshop and it's actually on the square or it's on a fixed ratio. There's all these different kinds of ratios here. And you don't want it. You want a free, free transform kind of thing. You want to crop it to whatever you want. So if it's not cooperating how you want, if you're like, wait, I can't, move it how I want, remember, you can go up here, you can just hit clear, and that's going to then allow you to do your free cropping here like that. Can go back to like that, but I don't think I need to do that. And what else? I think that is all I will show you today. So then to save it, you'll go to File, Save As. You can save it to your computer. You might be able to navigate to your Google Drive. I don't have that set up on my computer at the moment, so I might just save it into my Documents folder, but wherever it is that you'd like to save, you'll navigate to that on this screen. Know that you can change the format here. If you wanted to go back and edit this again, you definitely need to save it as a Photoshop document, okay? But to turn it into Google Classroom, you'll want to save it as a JPEG. What that does, though, when you save it as a JPEG, it flattens all the layers. We haven't created layers today, so this is going to be just fine, but it's just something to keep in mind, and we'll be talking more about that later. And then you'll just click on Save. Talk to you later.